Welcome back, episode 2. We are here. The Redlegs are hot, baby. We're sweeping the Chicago White Sox. Really took care of business in that series. We're going to talk about a lot in this episode. We're going to talk a little Elly De La Cruz, as he has really stepped up so far for us and kind of carried us through the past week or so. We're going to talk a little bit of Fernando Cruz, actually. Maybe, does he have one of the best pitches in baseball?
He might.
And as well as we're going to talk about the injury pandemic currently in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, we got a long episode today, as a lot has happened between episodes. So, first topic.
Yeah, we're going to talk Elly.
Talk
That's
about our
the biggest
guy.
thing. So, yeah, Elly's been fantastic, and we kind of talked about it a little bit in the first episode, and, you know, we brought up that, you know, he obviously hit one of the home runs when we were filming, and, you know, he's really cut down the strikeouts. You know, yesterday wasn't his best day. I think he went 0 for 5, but and he's been spraying the ball all over, hitting the ball to right field.
Yeah, one of the most
field.
impressive things is his right-handed swing now. Yeah, against the White Sox, I don't know if he's got a hit, but his one at bat, I think it was before the home run maybe, he hit a line drive right to the right fielder. It was probably harder than the home run, which looked really nice. And his glove is getting there as well. A lot of people were criticizing that towards the beginning of the year, and he's shaping it around, looking a lot better out there.
Yeah, you look at the Savant page, you know, and it's still you see the blue, you see the low percentile with the K percentage. You know, that's definitely
he's improving with that.
Yeah, and those numbers are going to get better, you know, as the season goes on. He's obviously not going to strike out half of his at bats. I mean, let's be real, that's not going to happen. And he's going to hit the ball hard. He's going to do all the things that, you know, we expect and we've seen from him. So, you know, I think he's such a special player. I think there's too much talent. He's just going to continue to be a big cog in this lineup. And, you know, I see nothing but a bright future for him. And really, he's been carrying us. I mean, especially with the struggling CES and a struggling Candelario. Actually, it just reminds me, they moved Candelario down in the lineup.
Moved him down, and he gets a couple hits, and
yeah,
we just hit
and against a righty tonight, Steer's batting fourth.
Yeah.
So David Bell has finally made the switch. And you really like to see that, because I think Steer, I mean, he's already got a bunch of RBIs, and he's only going to get more now batting fourth, hopefully with some guys on base. But yeah, Elly's been, I mean, back to him, he's been fantastic. And one thing I want to look at is, you know, a lot of people are talking about the comparison between him and O'Neill. And I think it's really interesting, because not that O'Neill's not a good player. Full disclaimer, I don't think but yeah, look at the stat. Like, he is clearly, like, as of right now, the better Cruz in the NL Central.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of seeing the comparison on Twitter and social medias.
Yeah, I mean, you know, O'Neill's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's going to be like, when they play the Pirates, you know, you're going to look at him and go, man, like, I'm a little bit nervous for that, you know, for his at-bats, because of his ability to hit the ball at the ballpark. But I just think Elly does so many more things that are so much better. I mean, the way that he's, you know, runs the bases. I mean, I think he hits the ball all over the field better than O'Neill. And, you know, the average shows that. And the on-base percentage is a lot better, 355 for Elly. So, you know, and really that's after the 0 for 5 day. So, you know, those numbers were a lot better after he kind of struggled against the White Sox pitching. But yeah, Elly's been great. So I think that's going to kind of get us into our next thing. And, you know, we mentioned the title of this video is the Reds are hot.
The Redlegs are hot.
And I think, you know, you don't want to get too high off this series, because, you know, I think that the White Sox are obviously going to be a team that is not going to be, you know, they're not going to win.
They're going to sit the bottom of the AL Central here, but they have a really good arm in Garrett Crochet, and we scored the most runs that he's given up all year off of him, and he's going to be a really good arm in the league. And we just blew up for 5 runs in 2 innings and got him out of the game quick.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. You know, they've struggled against the left-handed pitcher all year, and, you know, a guy of his caliber, you know, they
to come in and get that lefty, then that's
and you get him out of the game, and you get that. Their bullpen's not very good. I mean, let's be honest, that team is going to struggle, especially with the injuries they have now. So I really like the way that they attacked early in each game. The starters gave length, and the bullpen held it down, and they really they absolutely took it to them, and that's what they should do to a team like that. We're at a point where the Reds have become a team where they are expected to win. They're expected to beat up on these bad teams. Especially the teams that they don't see a bunch. Like the White Sox haven't seen this team a lot.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. They had 3 starters go 18 combined innings. They went 6 innings again. That's all you need from them right there. And then our relievers just took it away. By that point, our lineup already gave us a plenty big lead and had nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and speaking of starting pitching, the Reds get there. To me, we get our horse back.
Yeah, that's really big. Our big lefty there.
Yeah, he was spectacular, and obviously, we're talking about Nick Lodolo, and he was absolutely spectacular. That might have been the best start, maybe aside from he had a Phillies start last year where he struck out 12.
When he is healthy, he is by far the best pitcher in that rotation.
He has the best stuff, and I know Hunter Green is the guy that's getting paid. Like, we understand that, but when you look at Nick Lodolo and the tools that he has, being a left-handed pitcher, being that kind of 3/4 slot arm, and he's able to pitch up in the zone, down the zone, and then that slider is just absolutely
He's
wicked.
hitting batters for strikes.
Yeah, I mean, he was spectacular, and that was great to see. I really want him to succeed, and I think that if he's healthy, I mean, the sky's the limit for that guy, and so just really proud of the way they played this past weekend, and they get it. They come up with a tough series. They're playing Seattle, who doesn't have the best record, but they're a tough team, and I think they're facing their 3 horses. They face Kirby tonight. Actually going on right now. And they get to see Bryce Miller. I think it's Bryce. Is it Bryce? Am I right on that? Jake? Yeah.
You're correct.
Okay, yeah, Bryce. And then I think tomorrow they see Logan Gilbert, who's clearly their ace.
Yeah, this is a good
Aside
test
from
for them.
Castillo.
They were top of the AL whole AL standings last year, I think, and we do well against this team. We'll see where we're at. We got some good pitching. We got Montas Green and Abbott going through, and should be ready to roll.
I will say this is probably a good time to get them because Julio Rodriguez is currently one of the worst players in baseball right now. I think his OPS is like a 400.
Yeah, he's going through a slump.
And Castillo, we don't see Castillo in the series either, the former Red. So yeah, upcoming series, it's going to be interesting. I really like Montas game 1, and then we'll see what we get out of Hunter Green. Hunter Green, you never know. I mean, it's either you're going to get 6 innings of 10K baseball or you're going to get, 3 innings of 8 runs, and it's kind of brutal to watch.
Yeah, we get a little reunion with Jake Fraley. He's absolutely on fire right now with some base hits, batting over 400 against his old team. Let's see what he can do against them.
Yeah, so really excited for this series. You kind of stay on the American League train right now, and, they seem to play well against, especially the AL West. I think they only lost 2 games last year to the AL West. So that that's and I think the biggest keys for them, is the starters going deep in games. The middle of the lineup really picking it up. That'll help with Steer in the 4-hole. And doing like we did in the White Sox series, getting ahead early, giving that confidence to the young starters. And then that bullpen comes in, and a guy in that bullpen that has been absolutely spectacular so far. And I kind of hate saying that because every time I feel like I start to really praise this guy, he has one of those outings where he walks the bases loaded. But the guy I'm talking about, with one of the best pitches in baseball at the very moment, is Fernando Cruz.
Statistically, it is the best pitch. He's got the highest whiff rate on any pitch in the major league. Was it strikeouts? He has the highest whiff rate on strike 3 with the splitter.
75% whiff rate with the split. His baseball savant page is ridiculous. A lot of red. I think 100th percentile in a couple numbers there. The walk, the walk is always going to kill him because he has such a freak pitch. It's hard to locate that every time.
Yeah.
But he's been, really, like, I look at him as being kind of our setup guy in tight situations. David Bell can go to him when we've got the bases loaded, high leverage situation, and he tends to just strike guys out and get out of it.
That's big. You need a strikeout guy like that. Come in, DS right after him.
Yeah, and I think he gives it the Reds bullpen a different look because I actually sat down and was kind of looking at all the different guys in that pen. And if you look at the right-handed pitchers, you look at Diaz, you look at Sims, Antone at the time, You know, they have a lot of right-handed fastball slider, two-pitch pitchers, high velocity. You don't really have a guy that has that changeup other than Buck Farmer's, he's got a good changeup, but I think Fernando Cruz just gives him a really different look. He's got the cutter, he's got the split, and it just kind of that over the top motion just kind of gives him a different look out of the pen.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So, he's been great, and the bullpen is only going to get more healthy. Obviously, losing Antone is a huge loss, and that, just even if you're not a Reds fan, losing Antone absolutely just breaks your heart.
Yeah, after your third elbow surgery, he's going to try to come back, but it'll be very difficult to do.
Yeah, that's, he's a guy you want to pull for. He's, such a great guy, and he's always helping out the Reds community all the time. He's such a hard worker. You see it all over social media. He's a fantastic guy. So, the Reds have kind of been killed by this injury bug. And, you look here, and we're getting healthier. We've heard some good news about TJ Friedl. We think we're going to get him back sooner than we expected. Sam Moll had a rehab start recently. We get Nick Lodolo back. McLean, you're not going to have him for a while. Hopefully Jabot's back soon.
Yeah, the Lodolo coming back and pitching is good. It helps us a lot because you move Martinez to the bullpen.
Yeah, good point.
Because we're missing Antone, Young, Jabot, Mole, all in our bullpen. We move another guy like Nick Martinez, who he can be a middle reliever. He can take us to the end of the game. And Lodolo really helped us out there, right?
Yeah, and I think, this team's only going to get healthier. So I think, and they kind of dealt with injuries last year towards the end of the year. So it's just about kind of weathering the storm and guys really stepping up. And I think you've seen that so far. Some of the guys, like Brent Suiters, he was a minor league signing. He wasn't a guy that we thought, wow, he's going to be one of our go-to guys in the pen, but he's been exceptional. Fernando Cruz has stepped up, obviously. So, this team's only going to get more weapons back and continue to just, get better.
Yeah, there's no really long-term injuries except for McLean. We'll get him around August, September. But we're getting all these guys like right when the season's going to start heating up, and we need them to come play. 'Cause we're gonna deal with some more injuries. More guys are going to fall to the IL. We need these guys to come back and fill in that role.
And I you see on Twitter all the time, the Reds need to make a move. The Reds need to make a move. To me, I don't see a move that really needs to be made.
No, Nick Krall is really good at that. He didn't make a trade last year at the deadline. He didn't want to give up any of his prospects. We have the guys.
Yeah,
if there's a trade out there and he really likes it, and we don't give up a lot, but teams are going to want our prospects, and he's not going to want to give those up.
Yeah, and I think last year during the deadline when we started talking about Jonathan India, and I was a guy that said, hey, we gotta move India because these guys have to play every day and we need pitching. I think what people don't always understand is if you move a guy like that in the middle of the season when they're red hot, and you move your leader, your captain of this team.
Yeah, look at us right now. Where would we be at?
Without Jonathan India. You can't move a guy like that. And he's actually a guy I want to talk about a little bit because he is having one of the weirdest years I have ever seen.
He just gets on base anytime you look up, he's on first.
And you talk about guys that are three true outcome guys, like your Kyle Schwarbers. Gallo used to be that way in the more of his prime of his career. But what I mean by three true outcomes is, the walk, the home run, and the strikeout. India basically has one true outcome right now, and that's to walk.
That's all. That's perfect. At the leadoff spot right there.
He is walking at a pace that I think, Jake, help me out with some numbers here. What is the walk percentage for India at the
We're
moment?
looking at a 19.4% walk rate for 98th percentile in the league.
Okay, yeah, 19.4, which is...
I know at one point he was leading the league in walks.
And that's with him, he's not the three-hole guy where there's a guy on second base and there's an open base and they're just not pitching to him like they did to Votto for years. He's batting leadoff in front of a really good lineup.
Yeah, you get on base, you put the pressure for Steer. You gotta pitch to Steer with a runner on. You gotta pitch to Candelario with a runner on. Alley with a runner on.
So, but the downside is that India's really not hitting the ball right now, and that's it'll come. I think that when we get Friedel back, that lengthens the lineup, and I think that India will get hitting. He's obviously not hitting the ball. The ballpark, the OPS is really low, but I think India has really made some strides with his approach, and he's like, I have nothing but good things to say about him because he goes from last year being one of the older guys on the team after being one of the younger guys on the team a year before that, and he hits third in a good lineup and has to completely change his approach from 2021 where he was our leadoff hitter.
Yeah, in my opinion, he hits the best in the one hole. It's if you're bad at bats or turning into walks, you're doing something really good.
Yeah, he's fighting off pitches. He's, I feel like he's down on the count every at bat, but he just kind of finds a way. He's fouling off those tough sliders. He's doing whatever he can to get on base for the team, and it's really working. I mean, he's scoring runs. He's walking. He's batting 196, I think. Yeah, 196. But he's doing things to help us win. And it's kind of funny. Like he's batting 196, but not once have I thought to myself, man, India's struggling.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from any of the Reds community. He loves this team, and he will do anything for this team to win.
Yeah. So far, the guys I think have played well, and they're going to keep playing well. And I kind of want to shift, and I want to look. Because the NL Central, now after winning 3 in a row, you would think being 9-6, looking at the rest of the league, that we would be in second place or first.
Yeah, this Brewers team just finds ways to win any game.
Yeah,
Did they sweep the Orioles or they took the series?
I think they lost 2 out of, or they won 2 out of 3.
Took the series from the Orioles, took the series from us, and at 10-4, and we thought that team was going to be bottom.
If St. Louis is in. What, 2 other divisions? They're
probably in first place.
Well, I don't know about first, but they're definitely up there, and they're probably 5 games out of first place. So the NL Central is getting off to a pretty good start. Chicago's hanging around; they're 9-6. So it's gonna just kind of keep flip flopping. The division's not something that I think, if you're a Reds fan, you really need to pay attention to right now because the NL Central at the beginning of the year is always. Pretty strange. Like Pittsburgh was 20-8 last year. They were the best team in baseball.
Yeah, the biggest thing about the NL Central is the Reds need to beat NL Central teams, which they have always struggled against.
Yeah. We just have to do a better job of that because you will not win the division if you're not beating the teams that you like. You have to beat your division. Period.
Yes.
You play the most games against the division. You have to beat the division. So I think that, I wouldn't look too far into the division. Obviously Milwaukee's leading the way. Pittsburgh's got 11 wins. We're right there with Chicago. And St. Louis, I still think, is not going to be very good this year, despite some Cardinals fans thinking that signing Sonny Gray was going to change their season. Not that Sonny's bad, but, I don't think they made enough moves to really help that team. I think they're got too many veterans, and they just don't have enough young pop. So I like where the Reds are, being 9-6. Now, I will say they have a very tough schedule coming up. The month of May is going to be an absolute gauntlet. They play some really tough teams. Jake, I don't know if you're able to pull up their schedule right now.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I know they're it's just back to back tough teams. Baltimore is one of the teams they're going to have to play in May. And I think
the Phillies again.
The Phillies, Rangers I saw just now. I think we're getting it pulled up. Yeah. Like that's a tough schedule. That's a gauntlet of a May. But I think you'd rather go through Arizona. I think you'd rather go through the tough stretch of games early in the season. Not in September when everybody's getting tired, everybody's anxious for the postseason. You're trying to make the postseason. You'd rather play these guys now. Dodgers, another team. So it's gonna be a tough May, but I really like where they're at now, and I really think they can compete with those teams. I'm not sitting here saying I don't think that they're gonna win a lot of games.
Yeah, like last year playing against the Dodgers, I think
4
we
out
won
of 6.
Yeah, we took both series against them. We swept the Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, they can play with these teams and
swept the Rangers before McLean, Ellie, any of them guys were there. So anything can happen. But that's just kind of what's looking ahead. So talking about the Reds, and we brought up injuries earlier. Now, I want to talk about something that I've been seeing all over Twitter, and obviously everybody in the baseball world knows what's going on right now, is the pitching talent in Major League Baseball is being beat up by these UCL, elbow, Tommy John injuries. I'm going to say right now, and I want everybody to make sure that they can hear me, the pitch clock is not why these guys are getting hurt. Did you hear me, Matt Fry?
Say it one more time.
The pitch clock is not why these pitchers are getting hurt. Now, I say this because if you're going and you're looking at the numbers, and I'm going to kind of wait, Jake's kind of filing through some things here. I kind of want him to pull this up so that I can see it. I looked at a couple articles and some numbers. Can you scroll? Let's see these numbers. I think it's down. Yeah. Okay. So I believe all of you watching are able to see what I'm looking at. So what velocity is that? That's obviously not pitching velocity. What is that? Is it slider velocity?
We're looking at
On the far right, is that slider velocity?
Average. Yeah,
okay.
slider.
Yeah. So I'm gonna preface by saying this. Pitchers are throwing harder now, and everybody knows this, harder than they have ever thrown in Major League Baseball history. 94.2 was the average fastball for 2023. Now, 94, okay, that's average. You see all these guys, and look at the guys that are getting hurt. For the majority, if you want to pull that slide up, you can. We can kind of wait to get to that, but guy like Spencer Strider.
Yeah, with Strider going down, you have an all-star lineup of pitchers. You could pick any 6 of these guys and make. You can have the best rotation in the league.
And think about the velocity that these guys are throwing at. Guy like Garrett Cole, Jacob deGrom, who's had multiple.
He's had multiple arm issues.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, Spencer Strider. Now, there's some outliers. Shane Bieber's not a super hard thrower.
Scherzer's not necessarily. Well, I think his last one was his elbow, but it's not normally been his arm.
Yeah, so that kind of, and now the velocity doesn't answer the question, right? That doesn't say, well, that's why they're getting hurt. Another good point, and actually a guy that talked about this was Tyler Glasnow. I think it was on MLB Network. He kind of brought up the sticky, situation, which I believe was that would have been 2020 because that, the Bauer thing. But I wish I had a baseball, but when you're throwing the baseball and you're throwing it with such force, if you don't have a good grip and you have to squeeze the baseball tighter and you're tightening these ligaments in your arm and all these muscles are tensed up, that is what's creating that torque in the elbow when these guys are throwing the baseball. So you have guys that are throwing harder than they've ever thrown.
And right? If you look at the slider, like they're throwing that velocity with.
Yeah, they're trying to throw their slider as hard as a fastball. Yeah. So you're going with the velocity. That's the key, and also the not being able to get grips on baseballs now. These guys aren't even using enough rosin now and sunscreen because they can't. If there's any tackiness to their hand, they're out of the game. So that has been the biggest thing that I think I can come to a conclusion of, like, why these guys are getting hurt. It's not the pitch clock, people. 2021, 40 people. There was 40 arm injury, elbow. I think it's elbow is what it says on the screen. It might be arm, elbow procedures. 40 in 2021. You know what there wasn't in 2021? A pitch clock. There was no pitch clock in 2021. But that's the most that we've had in Major League history. So this whole pitch clock nonsense, I think it's helped the game. It's not been the problem. I think it's a matter of some of these Major League guys can't adapt to it, and so we're just kind of trying to throw the pitch clock under the bus.
Yeah, I think Trevor Bauer talked about this a little while ago. Like, the human body is throwing faster than they're capable of, and the injury's just going to catch up to them.
Yeah, I mean these, so I don't think it's not a pitch clock problem. It's simply these guys can't get grips, and they're throwing the ball harder than they ever have before. So I kind of wanted to talk about this on the show just because I think it's been a hot topic, and they're like, people are talking about, well, should we get rid of the pitch clock? What should MLB do about this? Do we need to, move the mound closer? I mean, I've seen everything on Twitter. I've seen so many things, and it's just we're getting to a point in human evolution where you literally cannot throw a round 5-ounce object any harder than what guys are throwing it consistently.
Like look at like you could build your body to the point like Hunter Green, like you were talking about earlier, a big guy, he's built a little more, and he's not getting hurt because his body is stronger. But like a guy like Glass now, he's a little skinnier. I mean, he's like 6'6", and he's had arm issues in the past.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Hunter Green is because he's so tall, he has a lot more leverage in his body. Like a guy like Strider, who's not super tall. I mean, he's obviously strong. I mean, everybody on Twitter has seen that guy's quads. I mean, he is big, but he's not a very tall guy. So in order for him to create leverage, there's a lot of torque going on. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about that. And that was what page was that? Redbird Rants. Yeah, that was some research by Redbird. That was the page we found it on. Who wrote this? Let's go ahead and see. I don't know if I could pronounce that, but you guys can see it. But yeah, I found that, and we wanted to talk about that. So that's over with. A little bit of a rant, kind of on my soapbox there, but just really just wanted to get through that. So all right, I think we've got to that point in the show where we're going to start to have some fun. We're going to do the baseball reference that everybody loves, and I love especially. And then we're going to do our trivia question of the day. So, fellas, let me see our first name that we have. Oh, we have a silhouette up there. Nice.
Cincinnati guy.
All right. So, yeah, we got a 2010 Cincinnati Reds. So, hopefully I get this pretty quickly. Outfielder, left fielder. All right, so yeah, 2010, he made his debut at 25 years old. He retired in 2017 with the Washington Nationals. Not really a great player. That 2011 season sticks out. 254, 18 home runs. That was the most games he played on the 2012 team, and was an outfielder. This guy was always a pretty good player. I think he was a guy that the Reds were very high on when he came up. And he never really put it all together. Injuries. He reminds me a lot, or I guess I should say Nick Senzel reminds me a lot of this guy, just because he was not able to put it together, had the talent, had the skills, but could not put it together. This is Chris Heisey.
You are correct.
All right, Chris Heisey. What a name there. Gosh, I remember watching him growing up, and yeah, he just could never really put it all together. But good player for the Reds. I mean, he did his job every now and then, so kind of like Stuart Fairchild, I guess. Once again, we're talking about Stuart Fairchild on the podcast. So, all right, number two is what do we got here? A 1998 debut for the Minnesota Twins, a position player, mostly a catcher. Wow. Okay, well, obviously you see Minnesota and you see the catcher. You think Joe Mauer. This obviously is not Joe Mauer, because Joe Mauer played his whole career for the Minnesota Twins and is now in the Hall of Fame, which I'm a little bit surprised about, but I'm not going to get into that right now. All right, so from Minnesota to San Francisco and then Chicago for a long time. I think he's on the World Series team. Yeah, I believe that this guy is now, I believe he does TV now. If I'm correct. I can't see, so let me see what you got on the, okay, so, yeah. Oh, that St. Louis is kind of throwing me off, though. I don't remember him being on the St. Louis team.
I don't have a clue who this is.
I'm about 98% sure I know who this is, because he was the catcher for the World Series team. He's got a really cool last name. I say cool. It's just really kind of funky. He's on TV now, but this is AJ Pierzynski.
That's correct. You're 2 for 2.
What? AJ Pierzynski. Yeah, he's on TV now. I think he's on Fox, if I'm correct. I probably botched that. I'm probably completely wrong, but yeah, AJ Pierzynski. Yeah, he was on that World Series White Sox team. All right, give me number 3.
Name 3.
Oh boy. Sea Angels. This is going to be interesting. 2005.
Another catcher.
Really? 2 catchers in one video. Okay. 2 catchers. All right. Ooh. I had a name, and I kind of want to throw it out right now because I don't think it's right, and I want to just confirm. This is not Chris Iannetta, right?
No, it is not.
Okay. Because he was a Angel after 2012 and on when Trout was there.
That's probably helped him.
Okay, yeah.
Ended his career with Atlanta in 2021.
So he's kind of a backup. Never really played a ton of games. He never even played 100 in a season. Finished his career with Atlanta. No All-Stars. Wow. I mean, this guy could not hit. Oh man, you guys might have me here. This is man, this guy was not very good. Defensive guy? It had to have been.
Yeah, very good defensive catcher.
Okay, let me steal this because I'm having trouble reading that. Okay. Oh man. I definitely am gonna know who this is. It's not Jose, or it's wait. No, this is not Jose Molina.
No, it is not.
Okay. And it's not, oh my gosh. I know who this guy is, man, and I can't spit a name out. It's not, okay, wait, it's not Jose Molina. Is it the other Molina? Is it Benji?
No, it is not.
Oh my gosh. This guy's not very good, man. I'm allowed to say that because this guy probably won't watch the podcast.
Hey, you never know.
Wow. Miami. I definitely, I see the face. It's not like, I feel like is he Hispanic?
He is not.
Not Hispanic. Okay. I'm going to need probably an initial.
His first name starts with a J.
A J. Well, okay, I think like Josh Tolley, but
No.
you guys wouldn't give me Josh Tolley.
No.
I don't even know. Does anybody in this room know who Josh Tolley is? Okay.
I know I do not.
Oh man, I definitely know this guy. I think for the first time, well, it's only been 2 episodes, but I think we might have our first stump. Give me the both initials.
We're looking at JM here.
Dude, I know, I have it in there somewhere and I can't pull it out. JM, I can't get to it. Let me hear it.
We're looking for Jeff Mathis.
Jeff
today.
Mathis. Wow. Jeff Mathis. You're right. Defensive guy, not a very good hitter. I honestly didn't even know that he played that long. I got stumped. And I'm sure there are a couple of people that are going to watch this video and be super excited that I got stumped.
No, it's okay. I probably couldn't name a single catcher in the Angels history.
Jeff Mathis. That's a name. That's a great name. So obviously there's the first stump. I am.
You gotta get a little tally up there.
Is that cocky for me to say that I am human for missing one? But yeah, that was a good name there. And I feel like that's definitely a point for our producer Jake, and as well as did you come up with the name or was it Jake?
That was all him.
Okay, so that's definitely a point for
I wouldn't have came up with that
our
guy.
producer Jake. So we're gonna move on. Let's get this scoreboard stumper. Hopefully I can get back on track. Okay.
5 active players have been an all-star while playing for the Reds and have also been an all-star while playing for another major league team. Who are they?
Okay, so 5 active players that have been an all-star.
Griffey Jr.
I will give you.
Oh, so you
Just get the easy
you,
one.
you don't know the
I don't know.
Okay,
I
so
will
we're
give
doing
you
this
a
together.
Caveat. This was posted last year in 2023, and one of those players has retired, and he goes by the name of Johnny Cueto. So there are 4 active
Okay,
players
so we're
now.
gonna do 4.
Yes.
Okay, I actually didn't even. I thought he was still on a team, to be honest. So 5 active players. Well, Griffey Jr. is not active.
Oh wait, yeah, active players. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so 4
he's still
active
playing.
players have been an All-Star while playing for the Reds, and have also been an All-Star while playing for another major league team. Who are they? Okay, so Johnny Cueto. Obviously, the answer was given to us.
Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo
Yes.
is one of 4.
Yep, Luis. Good.
Was Sonny Gray?
Sonny
also with
Gray,
us?
you're 2 for 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Matt Fry.
Okay.
Let's see what you got here.
Was Chapman one?
Chapman
Yep,
is 1.
that's
You're 3
another
for
one.
3.
3 for 3.
Wow.
Looking
Okay.
at one more, one
You're
more.
getting to these. I'm still thinking. You're getting to the names before I am. Matt Fry stealing the show here. See, like I don't think Castellanos a Philly All-Star yet?
He has been. You guys are 4
4
for 4.
Okay. Oh, that's
Oh,
all.
that's the 4.
Okay, yeah. All right. Wow, that was quick. Quick. All right. Yeah, Castillo, Gray, Castellanos, Chapman, and
A lot
Cueto.
quicker than last episode.
Wow, that was pretty good. I didn't even know Cueto retired. Actually, I kind of thought that
I thought he was still roaming around
I
somewhere.
swear I thought he was with the White Sox still, but he was. I'm pretty sure he topped out like 84 last year. So I think his time has come. Before we wrap up this video, I kind of want to just give a couple shout outs. Matt Fry, actually, all this beautiful stuff that you're seeing around me. I'm going to point this way. Like if you see Jonathan India over here and you see Ellie over there. Matt Fry made all of this for us. Really good job on your hand. I do not know how to do this kind of stuff. So I just kind of wanted to say thank you to you
Appreciate it.
for making all of these. And the other thing too is our new intro. You made that as well. So hopefully everybody enjoys that. And Jake, obviously our producer, does a great job. He's the guy switching slides back there. He's doing everything to get
Working
us going
overtime
here.
on this 37-minute long podcast.
Yeah, so
Trying my best back here.
he's done a great job. So I just wanted to thank you guys both, and I want to thank everybody too for checking out the first podcast. Me and Matt Fry both received a lot of love for the first video. So I just hope that everybody continues to check us out. And where can you check us out, actually, Matt Fry? Tell the people where they can check us out as we close this episode.
Check us out on YouTube, obviously, Twitter /X, TikTok, and Spotify.
Reds Relay.
We'll have some
is
reels
the
coming
@
out.
Reds Relay podcast for the TikTok.
We will have a couple TikToks coming out soon, some reels.
Yeah, Luke and Hunter Frank are in charge of our TikTok. Thanks everybody for watching and listening wherever you are. Go Reds.